Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now, when you think of motherhood, what is one of the first things that you think of? Breastfeeding. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, breastfeeding is as simple as putting the baby on, baby sucks, baby gets what it needs, everyone's happy, right? Wrong. There is so much more involved in breastfeeding that I didn't even know about when I started out. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 things that nobody told me or that took me by surprise when it came to breastfeeding for the first time. So here we go. Number 1, it hurts. Well, hurts isn't the word that I really like to use. It's uncomfortable. If it does hurt all the time, then you could be doing it wrong. Baby might not be latching properly, so maybe talk to a lactation specialist or someone to help you with that. But it can be uncomfortable because baby is on there sucking and twisting and pulling and biting. Yes, even though baby has no teeth, baby can still bite you. Believe me. When you're feeding, you can't just hold baby there and let baby go. It is really a two-person job. You have to always be making sure that baby is latching properly, that baby is sucking, that all of this is happening, and there's so much more going on than I realized when I started, because I just thought you just held baby there and it just did all its own thing, but I was wrong. Number 2 is that feeling that you get. First of all, you feel it when your milk comes in after baby's born, but you feel it a lot throughout your feeding stage as well. It's when you get that really full, pressurized, hard feeling, and it's not a comfortable one. If you have skipped a feed, if you're out somewhere and you haven't been able to pump, you will get quite full and you can feel it. Another thing is that when you get that full, it has to go somewhere and it can cause leaking, which can get quite embarrassing, especially if you are out downtown and you end up with a huge wet spot in that area. It's happened to me. So breast pads are definitely the way to go there. But speaking of breast pads, they can have a mind of their own. I have the reusable ones that you can wash, so they don't actually adhere to anything. They don't really like staying in there, and they can just slide out, and you have to constantly be making sure that they're actually in there doing what they're meant to be doing. Maybe I have them in there wrong. Maybe my maternity bras are just not very good, I don't know, but mine just tend to not want to stay in. Number 3, pumping. Now, if you're going out somewhere and you're leaving baby with someone and they're not on a formula, you will have to pump, so you have a supply for baby to eat. Now, pumping is something that I really struggled with Sienna, because I was only pumping, maybe it was just a crap pump that I had, I don't know, it was one of those little manual ones. And I was pumping and pumping and pumping, and I wasn't really getting a lot out, and it was causing me to stress, because I was thinking, if this is all that's coming out, is this all that Sienna's getting when she feeds? Am I feeding her enough? Am I starving my baby? All of these stressful things just go through your head, and I promised myself that this time with Ollie I was going to be more prepared, and I was going to start pumping right from the beginning, so I wouldn't have any problems, that there would always be a supply there for Ollie if he needed it, and I wasn't under the stress of having to pump for the next day. And so far, I haven't really pumped that much with him, so I sort of broke that pact with myself, but there is still time, and I am getting on the bandwagon now, and I am starting to pump quite a lot. Number 4 is that you may feel like you are feeding constantly. For some mums, you pretty much are. It's shown that a baby can feed from anywhere between 4 and 13 times in 24 hours, and some of those feeds can last for up to an hour each. So there is a very high chance that you will be feeding for a majority of your day. And especially when they're quite small and they've only got small bellies, and so they fill fast, they empty fast, and they're growing, so they need that nourishment from you. For some mums, that can get hard, especially if you've got more than one kid. I found that this time with Sienna running around and doing all of the things that a toddler does, I found it difficult to be able to sit down sometimes with Ollie to feed, especially when he wants to feed all the time and he's like cluster feeding and things like that. It can get difficult. It is doable though, so don't let me freak out anyone that hasn't had 2 kids yet, because it is very doable. I freaked out about it a lot because I was really stressed out about feeding while Sienna was running around, but that's a whole nother video there. Number 5, the dreaded mastitis. Mastitis is when you have a blockage somewhere in there, and so you've got all of this milk storing up, and it can cause it to swell and be quite painful, and you get lumps and things like that. Now, I was lucky enough with Sienna to not have any problems at all with mastitis, but with Ollie, however, there was a day when I just started feeling really flu-like. I was really cold. I just felt really run down and tired and sick, and he's laughing at me over there. And it hurts. One thing that I did was I took a warm shower, I massaged a lot. I put Ollie on until it was completely empty, and when I went to the doctor, she said that I'd pretty much self-medicated myself and I'd helped myself a lot. So my experience with mastitis was only a very mild one. Touch wood that there will be no more. But I have known people who have got mastitis so bad that they have needed to be hospitalized and things like that. It's just a tough thing. It can happen to anyone, or it may not happen to you at all. So that's just something to be wary of when you are breastfeeding. Number 6 is when you start out breastfeeding, you may not really know what you're doing and you need help. So of course nurses are there to help you. But one thing that I wasn't prepared for was a nurse coming in and feeling and moving me and pushing baby there and like squeezing me and things like that. And I'm not the most out there person to begin with, and so having someone come into my personal space like that was a bit of a surprise for me. But they're there to help, so it is something that, like, I'm not saying it was horrible, but it was just something that I wasn't prepared for. It did help a lot, so I am very thankful to all those nurses and midwives that did that to help me, but it was just something that I wasn't ready for. So yeah. Number 7, when you're feeding, it is a very restful time. After you're running around all day and things like that. But on top of all of that, when you're feeding, your body produces a hormone called oxytocin, which really makes you drowsy. It makes you very sleepy, and I can find that I'm wide awake and then I sit down to feed and all of a sudden I can't keep my eyes open. I've got a little cranky mum over there. He's laughing and crying at the same time. Number 8. Covering can be difficult. When I am out in public, personally, I would much prefer to go to a parent's room or a feeding room. I don't feel comfortable feeding in public, not because I don't feel that it's right, or not because I don't want to make other people uncomfortable, but because I feel uncomfortable. As I said earlier, I'm not the most out there person, and I don't feel comfortable getting myself out in a public place like that. If you want to, go you. I mean, I would love to have that sort of confidence, or I would love to be able to maneuver one of those cover things, but I find them too hard to watch him and things like that at the same time. I would just prefer to be in like a parent room or something like that to feed in public. Number 9, you hear all the time that when you're breastfeeding, you A, don't get your period until you finish, or B, you lose all of this baby weight straight away. Those are not the case for everyone. With Sienna, I was lucky enough to lose my baby weight quite quickly. With Ollie, it's been a little bit harder, but he's still young, I'm still feeding. Who knows, it could be a thing that happens, but I have known people that haven't lost all of their baby weight straight away while feeding, so don't expect to be like again as soon as you start feeding. And with cycles and periods and things, with Sienna, I didn't actually get a cycle between when Sienna was born and when I felt pregnant with Ollie. So I'm not sure how that works. I do have PCOS myself, so my periods are quite irregular as it is, but I've known people that have got their periods straight away while they're still breastfeeding, and I know people like me who haven't got it for that whole time, and I don't know if that has anything to do with my PCOS or if it is just something. Sorry, I had a little whingy bubby, so he's gonna sit here with me for my number 10. Number 10 is when you don't breastfeed anymore, you miss it. You really do. Like, that bond that you have between your little baby and you as you're doing it is incredible. Like, you are feeding this little person with your body. It's an amazing, incredible thing. And you really do miss it when you don't feed anymore. Like, when you're feeding and you have those big eyes, look at them. You have those big eyes looking up at you. It just makes it all worthwhile. All of those hard things, the hurts, the aches and pains, the struggles, the stresses, everything, it just makes it all worthwhile because you're feeding your gorgeous little thing. Hey? He's just staring at himself. So thank you everyone for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you liked any part of this video at all. Thumbs up. Comment if you agree with any of these things, or if you have any other experiences that you didn't or weren't ready for or didn't know about when you started breastfeeding. Leave them in the comments below. Leave friendly comments, anything like that. I would love to hear from you guys. I'd love suggestions and other videos of things that you would like me to talk about. I've got a few lined up ready to go. I've just got to get around to filming them. Oh, excuse you. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. Also check out, if you want to see more of these gorgeous little kids that I have, check out my family vlog. I'll leave the link to that down below. It's called The Family of Oz, and we would love for you to subscribe to that as well, so you can see my beautiful little babies and the rest of my family whenever I put videos up there too. But have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Say bye. 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 You're too busy sucking on your hands. Bye, guys.